If you're looking to grow a garden, you're looking for someone with a green thumb. If you want to grow a positive person, you need to stay tuned to this morning's guest. Coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Financial Insights off of Grissom Parkway in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on growing positive people. And we're visiting with Dr. Muriel O'Tuel. Good morning, Muriel. Do you mind if I call you Muriel?
Oh, that's fine, Greg.
I'm sure doctor, you probably, that's enjoyable to be called doctor every once in a while, isn't it? Yeah, are you hear it a lot?
Yes. I
Do you
hear
get
it.
shots?
No, I don't. I had a letter from a parent one time said, while you're at it, give Mary her shot. And I had a lot of explaining to do on that one. No, I don't give shots.
This is great to get, what about this Financial Insights? Nice facility here.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It really is.
Fresh, beautiful.
Smells good, easy to find right between 38th and 44th Avenues.
It wears well, right?
It does, it does. And this area is not new to you. You know Horry County and much of the area very well.
Yes, I do.
You've been here how long?
I came here as a resident full-time in '86, but I bought a little beach house in 1967.
No.
So
wow,
I've been around
67. That is 40 years ago this
don't
year.
Remind
yeah,
me.
well, no, you could have been 2 when you bought it. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
right. Yeah. But I've had a presence here a long time.
That's tremendous.
And I love the growth, and I like the melting pot, the diversity here.
Right. Yeah, there really is a lot. There
Yes,
really is a lot.
like
This is a great week to highlight diversity. Harry Turner, who lives in North Myrtle Beach, was with us yesterday. He was the president of Beach Music Association International. And then Donna Tyson's going to be with us on Thursday. We're excited to have the opportunity to get you in this morning and tomorrow. And, of course, John Bonsignor, who's a real highlight of diversity, a melting pot, a New Yorker who will be with us on Friday, wrapping up the week. So you're not an Horry County native, though?
No. Actually, I grew up in the county that joins Horry County, Columbus County.
Oh,
so
sure.
As a child, it only took about an hour to come to the beach. So we would come in the fall and go down to Cherry Grove and get fish that were pulled in with the guys in the nets.
You'd see them coming in.
And we would buy fish, and then we would find a place like at Nixon's Crossroads, and we had our little campfire, and we would fry the fish. That's a warm childhood memory I have.
I know that
here.
area. Absolutely. Columbus County, like Oree's, another big, geographically large county in North Carolina, probably one of the larger counties in the state.
And my hometown is Tabor City, which is in the most southeastern part of North Carolina. So, that's my hometown. Of course, I did not grow up in the city of Tabor City.
I've heard that before, yes.
Yeah.
You grew up
on a farm.
On a farm.
Out from the town. But I thought coming into the city was big. There were 2,000 people who lived there, and that was like my New York City.
Wow.
I was bussed into the city to go to school.
I love it. I love it. And you have vivid memories of that, Muriel?
Yes, I do. I have vivid memories of my first day, which I shared with you before, because I was so eager to be in the school and learn. And when I got there and the teacher started asking questions, she asked me a question that I had no clue. She asked me who was Humpty Dumpty. And I was thinking who would name somebody that. But instead of putting me down and making me feel so unworthy to be in that classroom, she was a very positive influence. She was one of the positive people in my life. She said that, she says, don't worry, we have a lot to learn this year. And later she told me I was a target of opportunity. So I've tried to look at it
those
that
are great
way.
words.
Yeah,
target of opportunity. I wonder if you remember words like that, particularly at an early age.
She really made me feel that I was in the right place and she was going to help me grow. So she more or less launched me into a whole new world. She changed my map of the world forever, is what I told her, because she really wanted me to learn and become and to be a person I could be, and that was very important to me.
Did you follow her later in life, Muriel?
Until the day she died.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Even in the nursing home, I would visit her, and she would be lining up the kids for class, even though she was out of her mind more than in.
Right.
She was still the school teacher.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to be just like her from day one.
Yeah, right after you met her. Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to be like her. And that's why I went into education. It's amazing the power of positive people.
At an early stage. And so oftentimes, I remember someone highlighting, and it could have been you for that matter, that you may, I remember it was Trip to Bard in Florence, highlighting that you may not remember any of your college professors' names. You may not even remember some of your high school teachers' names, but you will remember your first grade teacher's name, who was forgotten, or second or third graders even. It's amazing that impact for an impressionable child that they will have on your lives, and it's critical to keep that in mind.
Yes.
He was doing some fundraising at that time for the School Foundation, which was a group that would help set up dollars for public schools, a private foundation to raise dollars for public schools because of the real need there. And of course, there have been many of those. The Conway Educational Foundation is one, and some in Myrtle Beach and all over.
Right.
Critical to go even above and beyond to support public schools.
Well, like you say, it's amazing how almost everybody has an elementary teacher story, and they tend to forget it. So I say connect with that person, let them know that they have really touched your life.
Right,
Yep.
right, yeah.
That's part of the validation we'll talk about later.
We do want to do that in growing positive people. And it's so exciting. There's so many different things you could talk about, Muriel. Of course, aside from being an educator and an author, we want to have an opportunity to talk about Footprints on the Heart, your first book, and I know you're working on number 2 right now, but Footprints on the Heart, which is a tremendous, what was that like for you writing your first book?
Well, it was interesting because what I did was use material I'd used as Director of Staff Development. I'd worked with teachers and community parents for many, many years, and I just pulled all of that wonderful information that seemed to work with them together to create a book with information that everybody can use. It's, it's all about being a person people like to be around and really being successful by not putting people down. It's a book about real people and what really matters in life.
Footprints on the Heart, the caring path to prosperity. And can you share with viewers the title of your upcoming book?
My new book will be another Footprints book, and it's going to be called Footprints Are Forever.
Oh, wow.
Which will deal with the legacy we leave. It will deal with aging in the brain, generational differences. You know, there are 4 generations in the workplace now, and then there's the millennials to add to that. And they all come from different eras. So that's really going to be an exciting part of the book, is to talk about the differences and how we can work together to be productive. So that's going to be interesting. I grew up in the mature generation. You're probably an X generation.
Immature, that's right, yeah.
No, you're an X generation. My son's an X generation, and we see the world a little differently, but still we're able to communicate and get a lot of work done. So, and I'm going to include something about elder care and caring for parents, and also stories. I've been collecting stories of these older people, and when I say older, Bernard Baruch was asked one time, how old are you to be old? And he said, a person who's 15 years older than you are is old. So I don't know. I don't really go by that formula, but there are a lot of people who are in their 80s and 90s who are still making quite a contribution to the world. And I'm hoping to get more stories of them, those who just keep that torch ablaze.
Yes, absolutely.
And I hope I never retire. I want to keep a torch going forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
so
there'll probably be a torch in your coffin, in your casket there.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm dealing with now. And it's fun. It's fun.
That must be very exciting as you go through the steps. And of course, you had to go through those steps creating book one.
Right.
But to be able to look back, and it's probably very cleansing at some level to be able to look back and think, oh, I did that really well. I got to do that again.
Yeah.
Or, I probably could have done that a little better. And let's make sure. Or maybe you don't even think about that when you look at things. Yeah.
Well, now that we're all aging. And I'm beginning to see what's important in life, too. I like a quote, and I think it's one of those anonymous quotes, but I like it. It's not the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away.
Oh, wow.
That makes the difference, and I really believe that. I like the moments that are so memorable. And we make them. They don't just happen.
I want you to say that again, because that's a great thing for folks to hear at 7:10, 7:15 in the morning as a good takeaway. Absolutely.
It's not the number of breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away.
Oh, yeah.
That makes the difference.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
I like that, Muriel.
Yeah.
I really do. And speaking of that, if someone needs to get off to work now or can't sit around to watch the rest of the interview, is there a good phone number or a website that someone could visit to learn more, not only about Footprints on the Heart, but also about yourself and your speaking and just your normal daily travels?
Well, my phone number is 843-249-6903.
Okay, 6903. That's great. And you have a website as well?
It's Muriel at Muriel O'Tuel. That's my email.
That's your email address.
It's MurielO'Tuel.com.
Okay. MURIELOTUEL.com. Very easy to find. It's a great looking website.
You know the spelling, so that you get an A.
That's right.
As
good.
a teacher.
I'm going to get an A+. Yeah,
A+.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Of course, websites can be so important, but a lot of folks don't have internet access, so they want to know, can I pick up a phone and call Muriel and see, is there any way she can come speak to our group? Or I understand recently you've met some folks, and just that idea of getting out and speaking, you're approached all the time to speak. How do you, and I know you just got back in from a speaking engagement somewhere else.
Well, actually, I was in Columbia last week, Greg, and I wasn't sure how all the connection happened, but the administrative assistant for this company, it was a personnel services company that has offices in 5 towns or cities. The person who recommended me was a student when I was a guidance counselor in 1968.
No way, Muriel.
And I was blown away. She said, do you remember Suzanne Galarno? And I said, well, yes, a long time ago. She said, I am that Suzanne.
Wow.
And she said, you look now like you did then. So I wanted to write her a check.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean,
but it's the connection, the law.
Of course, and at that point, almost 40 years ago, she must be in her mid to late 50s. And of course, that excitement for her to see somebody, particularly someone who still looks as youthful as she imagined you back then.
Right. It was a great weekend.
That is amazing, Muriel. Of course, growing up in Columbus County and the opportunity, as you said, buy a place down here in 67 and in North Myrtle or in that area, had you always thought that you would want to live in the Carolinas late in life, or did you ever travel outside of the area?
Actually, when I went to college, I wanted to go to Europe to teach. I lived on a farm, and I thought I want to get away from the farm. I want to get as far as I can get. So I thought teaching in Europe would be wonderful. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I got married, and I married someone actually. I was very strong being a North Carolinian, but I said I got married and moved to another country called South Carolina.
Oh my God, that's right.
And I knew I was stuck in South Carolina the rest of my life. I loved it.
You weren't going to get to Europe, that's right.
No.
You were happy. Yeah.
I made lots of trips, but I have no desire to live anywhere else.
Wow, those are great words. Was your husband a Palmetto State native?
Yes, he was. Very much a staunch South Carolinian.
Really? Yeah. Did you all ever live in the Sumter area? Is that
actually Somerville?
Somerville. I knew there was an SUM in there. Yes,
I worked with the Somerville schools. I was the first woman school administrator.
Is that right?
In 1975, I was the only one who wasn't a coach. who was at the district office, and the only one who didn't drive a pickup truck. So
Wow.
I had to work hard to fit in.
Yeah.
And I did.
What was that like? That must have been exciting.
Well, it was exciting because that's when I got to put into action what I believe is the way you network and work with people and be a real person. I developed relationships. In fact, one of the lunchroom workers, and I left there in '86, one of the lunchroom workers came to the beach to see me 3 weeks ago for her birthday. She's 82.
No.
So you see, you make those connections,
Yeah.
but they don't happen overnight. You have to maintain. It's like growing a garden. You have to nurture, you have to water, you have to warm the soil. And that's what I do best, is warming the soil for relationships.
I love it, Muriel. So oftentimes it's tough to talk about yourself, but there must be something either about you or something about her that an 82-year-old would want to come visit you in North Myrtle. What can you imagine, as you say, watering the soil is a great
the
one.
connection for us, she had a lot of problems, and I would always listen to her. I'd go to that school. I had like 15 schools. I would go to her school late so I could have something to eat and talk with her a little bit.
With her. Yeah.
And then when I left there, they gave me this wonderful reception, and I got a lot of wonderful gifts, prints. But she slipped a card in my pocket, and I walked away from the festivities to look at the card because I wanted to reinforce her, and I opened it up, and it was something that's similar to this that you have. On her card were the words on a card that probably cost less than $1, because I believe that it's the little stuff that impacts us the most. On the little card were these words: some people come in our lives and quickly go, others stay a while, leaving footprints on our hearts, and we're never ever the same. And I read that. I put that card by my nightstand. I read it for 3 years, and that became the title of my book, Footprints on the Heart. So that's our connection. So here's this lady who feels discouraged and a nobody, who gives me a card, and that becomes the title of a book. So she is my hero.
That's tremendous.
And she wanted to come and see me.
Yes, you
So
also
that's the
mentioned
connection.
a great, this was a verse
That's
really
a little more
worth
extended,
sharing. It is a little longer. Do you mind if I read it?
Oh, I love it.
Maybe a paraphrase place. Actually, Muriel, you can probably read it better than I barely got through college, and you are a doctor, so please share that with
I will hold my comments.
Yeah.
This actually is a little more extended, and I found this when I was speaking in Costa Rica. I don't speak Spanish. I had an interpreter, and we visited an artist's home. And the only thing I saw that was in the English language in her home, her gorgeous home, was this that was done in English and a beautiful calligraphy. So I copied it down.
Yeah.
And it says, some people come into our lives and quickly go. Some people move our souls to dance. They awaken us to new understanding with the passing whisper of their wisdom. Some people make the sky more beautiful to gaze upon. They stay in our lives for a while, leave footprints on our hearts, and we are never, ever the same.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow. Now, did you see that later in life after you'd received the card from the gal? Or
I saw
so
that
you
later,
really,
and I was
You
really
thought, wow.
gravitating to that
Sure.
calligraphy that she had framed on her wall.
Of course.
Isn't it amazing?
Golly,
and I
that
said,
is.
what a connection. I'm in the place I need to be.
Of course, absolutely. So oftentimes, and I know you've seen that or heard it, the Christian that speak about the footprints on
And
the
that's
beach.
good.
And of course, that's another great one. It's great
It
to
is.
find something that folks can gravitate towards and let their mind race as to how that impacts them when they think of footprints. And as you said, watering the soil.
Oh, yeah. I really believe that we can't nurture relationships in cold soil. So we have to do bit by bit. We have to warm the soil. And, Greg, there are people, I've read some of Jay Carter's stuff about how there's 1% of the population who are born to put us down. They're those invalidators. And they wake up in the morning trying to figure out how to put misery in our lives.
Oh, wow.
And for those in the viewing audience, if you're married to one, that's tough. But they are the ones who use criticism and complaining and nagging and whining and bribing and threatening, and they use all of those negatives day in and day out to put us down. And as from some other statistics that Jay gave, there's like 20% of the people who will give you a put down occasionally because it's self-defense almost.
Right, yeah.
But then there's 79% of the people who rarely say things negative. They're easy to work with,
right.
And that's the ones you want to work with.
Yeah.
Because research indicates that 1% you're wasting your time. And I grew up with this idea that I can reach 100%. I've changed my mind. There are some people who absolutely plug into you like a vacuum cleaner,
right.
and suck everything good out of you.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can spend your time on that one person all your life,
right.
Or you can make life more positive for everybody.
A big difference for the other 99%. Absolutely.
So keep that in mind, and I've changed my view about the way I relate to people. Is there's some that you will never make a dent, and they like to keep you busy with them. So I was talking,
pulling you down. Yeah.
I was talking to Sherry before the show, and I said, I like what Don Clifton said years ago. He said, we all start out our day with a dipper,
right,
a bucket, and a dipper.
Right.
And we can be just full of it. We're so positive. We're going with our buckets full of positive stuff. And somebody's going to come along with an empty bucket, and they're going to dip in our bucket and drain us of what we've got that's positive. So we have to, before we can grow positive people, we have to grow ourselves. We have to keep our bucket full. And that takes a lot of work.
And that is a great point. I don't remember who it was. I'm thinking it's a guy named Philip Russell, and you've probably heard it somewhere else. It's that great simple reminder of an airline when when the pressure is the pressure cabin is sensitive, and the thing drops from the thing and drops from the ceiling. It says, take care of yourself before you help the elderly or young one. And it's so important to really think about making sure to take care of yourself before you can really go out and help others.
And that's one of the things that I do every day is I try to keep myself filled with positive thoughts and looking at things from a positive angle. Because I read a statistic a few weeks ago that when you are a positive person, when you are emotionally positive, that you can add 10 years onto your life.
I heard that.
And
I heard that from Muriel O'Tuel. I love it. And
that 9 out of 10 people in the workplace say they are a lot more productive when they're around positive people. Yet, some other stats that I read were frightening. 65% of the people in the workplace say they do not receive appreciation from their boss.
Oh, no.
And that blows my mind.
Wow.
But then I thought, I was in a school system 11 years. I have the one sticky note I got from my boss that said, good job, girl. So it's just amazing what a difference we can make.
Yes. Golly, Muriel.
Even when I'm at a hotel or a big convention, what I've learned to do, and that's important, Greg, we aren't born being positive. It's not in our DNA.
We don't come
but we can certainly mess up our kids and grandkids with their we can perpetuate a negative history when we are negative all the time. But I've often gone in a restroom, and here will be somebody working to clean, and the place looks great, and I always go up to the person and say, thank you, this place looks great. And so many times,
good for you,
I've heard them say, you're the only person who's ever noticed.
Oh, no. You and me both. That's right.
You see, isn't it incredible? Absolutely.
It makes a difference. I'll tell you some other funny things. Muriel, thanks so much for being with us. We're going to have to get you back tomorrow for Growing Positive People. Time has really flown by. Stay tuned to more Dr. Muriel O'Tuel coming up next. What's the language of validation? That seems like so foreign. Those are tough words to wrap around. If you don't know what they are, you can come back tomorrow. Part 2 of Dr. Muriel O'Tuel. What about mental vitamins? What are they? How do we use them? Do they impact our lives? Part 2 of Dr. Muriel O'Tuel will be tomorrow when we think about footprints on the heart. Isn't that exciting? The gal in the school down there in Somerville slipping that little note into Muriel's pocket. Think about the experience and the difference that made on her life, how that impacted her going forward. She named a book, her first book, and even her second book, soon to come out, will tie into that little thing that this 82-year-old woman slipped in her pocket. Validation, mental vitamins, a lot more about positive people. You want to learn about growing positive people? Either come back tomorrow. If you can't be here, you can visit MurielO'Tuel.com or give her a call at 843-249, I hope it's 6903. We got it. Come back tomorrow. Muriel O'Tuel.